It's Baby and Mary, we know you have been waiting, so here's another podcast about movies. Burn after watching.
Welcome to the Burn After Watching podcast. I'm Borderland.
And I'm Mary.
And today we have the pleasure to
Yes.
talk about Joker 2, Folie à deux.
We.
Before we get started and before we start unveiling and unboxing this film, subscribe. Find us everywhere. YouTube. YouTube is a great place to find us right now. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We are doing a horror month, so we just released the first episode last week. We're doing a weekly episode revisiting old horror movie we haven't seen with Dan, with Mary, with Joker, and with Jeff, also a special guest next week. So
Yeah.
Join us, find us.
Follow us on Instagram.
Yes, as well.
Let's start.
Yes. So,
We rewatched Joker
yes.
before going to see Joker 2 Folie à deux. So maybe we can start with that.
Yeah, and just,
We will be spoiling.
yeah, we will be spoiling the film. So I am not a fan of the first Joker.
Gosh.
And you are a pretty big fan of the first Joker.
I love that movie.
So it's good for you guys. You'll be able to hear both perspectives. I personally feel like while the film Joker is visually striking and really well made, I felt like it was a bit empty. The messages and the theme were just kind of thin. I didn't like the use of violence. I felt like it was a bit cheap and just trying to shock over telling a big, or like a sort of not a big, but a good story. So it felt like, yeah, it's entertaining while it's on, but it doesn't have much in there. So for
Yeah.
me, immediately I was like, yeah, that's not for me.
Yeah, I really, really disagree with you. I feel that it's a really strong message when you get to see someone who's been, let down by society. Anybody anybody who's let down by society could become that person. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's the whole story of his childhood and then him being bullied and like a succession of decisions that lead him to becoming that person. When I first saw it was during the pandemic, and I saw it 3 times, and it was really a weird context. When we rewatched it, I have to agree with you on the connection that's been made between someone that has mental health issues and that person becoming a murderer. That's really questionable to me. And we can talk about that with the second movie. To me, that felt like a justification or a excuse movie on the first one. But to me, it was really beautiful visually. I adored Joaquin's performance in that movie, especially when he dyes his hair green. Like, it was really, really aesthetically pleasing. But I understand the kind of mixed feelings. I still really like it, but I agree with you. A lot of violence and it's tough.
Yeah, the other thing for me is the score. Even though I like it, it feels like it's overused, and the needle drop to me were kind of obnoxious. Like just
The what?
The needle drop, like the song they choose to play, just didn't like it. So for me, it was a 2-star in 2019 when it came out.
That is so
And
low.
rewatching it, I did enjoy it a little bit more rewatching it than I thought I would.
Yeah.
But it's still a 2-star for me.
Wow. When I watched it, it was like a 4-star for me. And now I'd say it's a 3.5. Gosh, I have to say it's still a 4.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm kind of hesitating. But to me, it's really the... oh my God. It's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't make up my mind. But I still really like it.
So let's go into the second one. Obviously...
But the only thing, I just want to say, because we've been talking about this all week.
Yeah.
And it's tough because it's so realistic And you kind of forget that it's made in the Batman optic. You know, it's easy to forget, like, and just take him for who he is. But we have to remember that this movie was made with the intention of explaining a villain's story. And I think why people were mad is the whole mental health issue, explaining why he's killing innocent people. But still, the intention is to explain where he's from. You know what I mean?
I understand. Like, to me, it felt like the Batman connection were an afterthought. So I don't think the director made enough of an effort to basically like say this is fantasy and this should be judged as fantasy. To me, the glorification of Arthur Fleck and the Joker in this movie is the issue. It's not presenting him as a bad person that you can root for, but it's presenting him as a hero by the society, the people within, and for the audience. That's how we're supposed to interpret almost his arc. And that's where, for me, like it's probably just a misstep of like narrative. But
because we talked about V for Vendetta, and I was telling you like that it's similar, and then we said because he's killing corrupt people.
And it's intentional
and
as
he
well.
has a plan, and it's to like put down the government in place that's corrupted.
Who did something to him first as well, right? Like
right.
There's some
vengeance.
To me, it's what V for Vendetta does that Joker doesn't do is the subtle touch that you need in the theme and the story to make it where, to me at least, it you know what you're cheering for, and like. It's not making it where it feels like you glorifying a bad person. So going into the second one, I think it was one of your most anticipated film. I think obviously we both love Gaga as an actress.
Yes.
I think there's a lot to be excited there.
Yeah.
You know, a bigger budget, which doesn't necessarily was needed, but I mean, obviously it's nice that he can do a bit more. And I mean, I was not super excited about it because I didn't love the first one, but I was really intrigued by the musical aspect. That's kind of like the type of thing that you take a risk, and I really thought that it could have paid off. I love the idea. To me, this movie kind of just fall apart very quickly.
Oh boy, me too.
It's quite messy. There's a lot of risks that don't pay off, and also a lot of risks that didn't need to be taken.
It was a painful watch.
Yeah.
It was very painful. The first time he starts singing, I was like, what the hell is going on?
I think one thing is also Joaquin Phoenix doesn't have a bad voice, but he doesn't have the voice to carry
not
a musical.
whole bunch of songs. Like for one song, okay. For like 10 songs, no. Gaga was great.
Yeah,
say.
Especially next to each other, like you can really feel like, okay, like Phoenix doesn't have the chop to go, toe to toe with Gaga, and it's really showing that she's carrying the songs.
Yeah, but to me, it was the songs, the way they were integrated in the movie was so off. It literally took me out of the movie every single time, and it felt like almost comical the way it was made.
Yeah,
you mentioned this week something about like how those scenes were filmed.
Yeah, like I think that also Todd Phillips probably bite more than he could chew, because when he was directing a musical scene, most of the time the camera was just fixed as if it was just a character talking. It like a musical normally give you movement. It just had no style. Like visual. So the cinematography is amazing.
Yes, I agree.
Visually,
beautiful.
It's beautiful. The light work is amazing.
Oh God, yes.
But the directing itself is boring.
Yeah, I agree.
Like the choices of how to like build a scene and the mise en scene is kind of boring, especially in the musical. Some of them are better than others when we go into more like it's imagination.
Yeah.
And we are kind of like in a fantasy world.
But it's more pretty than anything else.
Yeah, like the camera work is very boring. It's very safe. Sometimes it's just a single shot that doesn't move. And I think that the big thing for me is that for like I like musical.
Oh, me too. We love La La Land. We love
Wonka. I
Yes,
liked a lot.
and what's the other film with Johnny Depp with the razor
Sweeney
blades?
Todd.
Yeah,
Which
gosh,
Sweeney Todd is
so
probably
good.
like the exact tone they should have went for.
Yeah.
But the big thing for me is that when you don't write the lyrics, right, you don't write original song for a musical, it's going to be really hard to feel like the songs is not just like hitting pause on the film and then we have a song and then we hit play again.
Yeah.
La La Land and those kind of like really good musical, the story keeps going through the
Yeah.
song. You keep learning, you keep building the characters. But here it really felt like, okay, we're gonna stop for 4 or 5 minutes, we're gonna sing a song, and then we're gonna keep going.
Oh yeah.
And I just feel
So-
like it's a waste opportunity.
Yeah, I agree with you. So basically, the movie is his trial for what he's done in the first movie. And I don't know for you, but I really was expecting a point in the movie where he was either gonna run away from the trial or be like set free, and he was gonna start like the Folie à Deux with Lady Gaga. So keep
Yeah.
doing what he was doing in the first movie. So my expectations were kind of broken. That's not the right word, but I was expecting something else, and then to realize that all the scenes in the trailer that were with Lady Gaga are in his imagination.
Yeah, most of them.
Most of them. So, and like his toxic relationship of codependency with her felt just like,
Gaga had
was-
nothing to do in this film. She's given no meat.
I know.
She's just like a
She was there to
fangirl.
sing.
Yeah, she's like a fangirl that tried to manipulate him in a way.
Yeah.
And kind of just disappear. Like it feels really where like I don't know. Like it felt like a waste of an opportunity.
Yeah. The whole movie to me felt like an excuse letter for the first
Like an
movie.
apology letter.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
really. That's really what I felt, especially like the ending.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, how to get rid of a character you built in the first movie and that, you know, everyone loved. And it was like, okay, let's like literally eliminate him to prove that, or to explain, or to justify, or to excuse the
Like-
first movie that was glorification of violence.
I think so. Like to me, it feels like they were going for let's deconstruct the character of the Joker.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And what they do is that in the court during kind of his
Trial.
Its trial. It's basically you get to see a lot of the character from the first film come back. You get to see kind of the jury, which
Yeah.
represent kind of the audience reacting to what he did, and then you kind of hear the argument: is it, was Arthur Fleck the person doing those things, or Joker was a kind of second personality that was
Yeah,
taking
split
over him?
personality. Yeah.
And to me, like it's almost as if, I don't think it's a bad idea to say like let's deconstruct the character in the second film
Yeah.
through a court process. But it was just handled so poorly. There was a lot of back and forth. We are in court. We are in prison. We are in court. We are in prison. And the court moment were not really strong. Like it was not really working for me.
I agree.
When you think about those iconic moments of the first film, even though I don't like it, the bathroom scene, the stair scene,
Yeah,
like
and
all
they
those
redid
things.
all those things. Like I was
Yeah.
like, you're just recycling
Well,
old scenes.
yeah, the knock joke. Like none of the the scene of the second film are memorable in that way.
No, not
Even
really.
the replica of the first scene are not memorable in this one. It's really hard to even remember the film now. And
Yeah.
it's almost a 2.5 hour long film. It's very
yeah,
long.
that's true. Yeah, it felt very long.
Yeah.
And in the end, to me, the singing was really, really painful. I was
Yeah.
like, I wanted to leave. There was 30 minutes left, and
Yeah.
I was like, I really want to leave.
Because it feels like you're wasting your time.
Yes, the first movie to me did not need a sequel. Yeah, it really didn't need a
It didn't
sequel.
need
And
it.
it feels like an apology and trying to, explain, okay, because spoiler, like he's guilty, and he admits in court that he doesn't have like a double personality or
Bipolar
split
disorder,
personality
yeah.
or whatever. It's just him, and he lacks empathy or whatever he is.
And like the ending, spoiler, where they literally kill the Joker.
I was pissed.
Yeah.
I was like, that is so fucking lame.
I don't think I think it's lame in the way
Like,
they did it.
hey Arthur, you have a visitor. Come in the corridor. Like the corridor who's like 2 meters from like the whole people in jail.
The scene itself was not great, but also like the idea is that killing the image and then like the
other guy like cutting his face like to
become the Joker.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god.
And it's basically the idea that like Arthur Fleck created a movement that will create the real Joker, and it's like how dangerous it is to have those kind of speech and like share those kind of idea.
Yeah,
is kind of like what they're trying to wrap up, and at the same time kind of having to me like an apology for the first film.
Yeah,
and then it's not necessarily a bad idea. I don't mind this idea of the court or the deconstruction of the characters, or the musical, but like all of those things together is a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and plus when we see Two-Face, like all the references to Batman,
again, really forced.
Yeah, very forced.
It's funny too. I pointed out to you, like when they go into court, the judge kind of named the case and they say New York City versus Joker, but they're supposed to be in Gotham. Mm-hmm. So how is it New York City versus Joker? They said this twice. I don't know how that make any sense, because he is in Arkham, which is in Gotham. It's not like New York City is a city next to Gotham. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense that they named that out. Really painful. Also, like I felt that the sex scene with Gaga was really, really poor taste. It just feel like unnecessary. I know there's like the I'm pregnant kind of like fake out, but the way it was filmed, maybe it just felt like almost they wanted to humiliate Arthur Fleck further. Even she doesn't seem... That's, I guess, the moment that we might have a doubt that she's exploiting him, because she doesn't seem into it at all.
Right. Yeah, I agree. No, I know. Gosh. It was really not great. A
lot of characters are like barely fleshed out, very empty. A lot of scenes repeat themselves, like prison visits and then prison cells and stuff like this.
And we talked about the scene where the 3 guards take him, Arthur Fleck, after he talked about them. Yeah. The security guards in court.
It seems like maybe they sexually abused him.
Yeah.
I personally didn't read it like this. You read it like this.
Yeah, I read it like that.
I don't know like if there's a consensus.
But it was really weird to kind of...
even hint at that.
Yeah. And I was like, well... because it's never addressed after, I wish like they'd, when he's interviewed by the guy.
Yeah,
the first
at the beginning.
Time.
At
the beginning.
For the TV interview, yeah.
Yeah. I wish they asked him more. Like, I wish it was just better, Yeah. He doesn't say much. It's just like very...
But again, if it is like a sexual abuse scenes, to me, it's kind of like the same thing as the first one. It's very cheap. To use it for shock value almost. Mm-hmm. And again, I feel like the score is used non-stop.
I know.
And also like I felt like the music choices was not great. I don't know, there's just a lot of... it just feels like a very messy...
Like, when you have an old friend and you go with them for a coffee and you have nothing to say about your life right now, so you kind of like recycle old stuff from the past and inside jokes, like old inside jokes. Yeah. That movie felt like that to me. Nothing new, really. I don't know, like...
It's worse than nothing new. If it was just the same movie again, I'd rather have this than like... It feels to me like they had more budget, more chances. Like they had an opportunity to do something cool with the musical. They had Gaga. It feels like now they even wasting opportunity. It's like you had all those great chances and I guess you took them, but like you did it very poorly. Mm-hmm. And the story feels so small.
It's like, because there's
nothing
there's
there.
Nothing to
there's
say.
Really nothing there.
Because to me, when the first movie ended, it was really clear that there was nothing else to say. To me, he was guilty. There was he killed innocent people. He's clearly unwell, but there's nothing else to say. It was really like the Batman would have arrived to me at that moment.
Gap of years there.
I know.
But to me, of the opinion there's always the chance to do like I'm not of the opinion that a movie can never like that doesn't need a doesn't need a
Let's
sequel.
talk about Gladiator.
It's to me, I always say like, yeah, some movie don't need a sequel, but there's always a chance to make a good sequel.
To me, it was just about the apology. And they were trying to, like, how can we make this work?
When I saw the trailer, what I thought would happen is that he would get out of jail for some whatever reason, maybe escape. Then he would fall in love, and it would be basically La La Land, but with two villains.
Yes, that's what I thought.
Singing and killing people, and like in the trailer, you see them having like a talk show. I thought that would be real. I thought that it would have been interesting that the entertainment business was like, well, you know, he did kill our most famous people, but he's so like almost like a message or like a study on like how reality TV, there's an incentive to like put bad people on the news because even though they are bad, they attract a lot of eyes. So like if you put those two ex-murderer on a talk show, it would have been even a higher message where like the first movie kind of hint at this idea that like entertainment take advantage of people. And now it's like, not only they take advantage of them, they make them superstar and they use them to the next level. Like that would have been super interesting with Gaga in the mix.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. But did you see the Harley Quinn movie with Margot Robbie?
No.
Yeah, I did. And that's what I was expecting because that's what they are together.
Yeah.
There's just this crazy couple doing bad stuff. And it's funny because in the movie with Margot Robbie, she's being influenced by...
That's how the comics go.
Yeah. And now it's kind of
opposite.
Interesting that it's the opposite.
Yeah.
So that's maybe that's interesting.
But like they both basically super depressed. Like it's not like one of them is like villainous.
What do you mean? They're super
like,
depressed.
Both characters are pretty much like, none of them are like villainous.
I think they're more delusional than depressed.
But they like very like blah and blasé. I feel like they're like this whole universe is very blasé. It's very depressed and everything, and it works the style. But like none of them has like, it doesn't feel like they know what they're doing. It almost feel like they're just going with the flow all the time.
Yeah.
So like to me, yes, Gaga is kind of like using Art of Fleck to like get famous, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like she has much of a plan. It feels like you barely see her anyway. Like I read she has 33 minutes of runtime, of screen time.
That's not
in a
enough.
2 hour and like 20 minutes movie.
Yeah. Again, I feel that the only point of this movie was to say, hey,
we fucked up.
Yeah.
The first time.
So let's kill him. Let's make him guilty. Let's make it clear that he doesn't have split personality, and that does not explain why he killed innocent people. And that's it. Yeah.
Anyway,
I really don't recommend this movie. I almost regret watching it, to be honest.
I don't regret it. It kind of make me feel like I was right about the first one a little bit. Even though they are unrelated.
To me, the first one is...
To me, it's really more of the same. I don't feel like the second film has that many things that this first one doesn't. It feels like it's pretty much the same thing I didn't like about the first one are there, but just extra shitty. And longer.
Yeah. I don't know. It's funny because I listen to a lot of true crime. Mm-hmm. And when you think about like murderers and serial killers and everything, most of them have like a very fucked up childhood, you know? So I thought it was interesting to like see how the Joker becomes the Joker.
It is if you actually say something about it.
But it does though.
No, it just kind of say that's something that happened.
Yeah.
It doesn't say to me. It doesn't say anything unique. It's something that like, oh yeah, okay. You know, villain have a bad childhood. Wow. It's like villain has mommy issues.
No,
you have to do something with it after.
Yeah, but anyways, we could go on and on.
Yeah, we disagree big time on
you
this one.
can write in the comments. I'd be really interested because we watched a few videos about people giving their opinion on the movie.
Most people hate it.
Yeah, most people. Dan Morel, that we love, said like interesting things that I hadn't necessarily thought about.
He's kind of mild on it.
Yeah.
He's not liking it. Right now, I was looking earlier today, the film has a 2.5 average rating on Letterboxd. Really bad.
Yeah.
That's really bad because it's only been out for like 4 days, 5
Yeah.
days. So like the fact that it's already that low, most people haven't even seen it yet.
Yeah.
But the box office was terrible. 40 million.
God.
The first one made 92.
Wow.
Yikes.
And even like, it's funny because I really love Joaquin Phoenix as an actor, and I think he was good in the movie,
It was good.
but a lot of times, his laugh and everything, it's like, okay, we've seen this in the first movie, so it kind of like ça s'essoufflait. It was like,
Yeah, it was kind of redundant.
yeah, redundant.
I mean, I like his performance. I think he's good. I don't think he deserved the Oscar, to be honest, personally.
In the first movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Personally, I still think he deserved to be nominated. For me, the laugh was always cringy. It never worked for me. It feels so forced. But I understand it's maybe the point. But like for me, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But anyway, 2 star for the second one, 2 star for the first one.
Yeah, I'm going to
burn them both.
Well, not me. I'm not burning the first one. I still think the first one is a good movie, and
Fair.
I still love it. But I will burn the second one and give it a 1 star.
1 star.
I hated it.
Yeah, fair. I think it
I
looks good enough
wasted my
to
time.
have 2 star. Visually, like if you turn the sound off and just put it in the background, it's a good looking movie.
Yeah, but
So that's why I give it 2 star.
the singing, it was so funny at the end. He says, "Oh, can you stop singing?" I was
Yeah.
like, "Yes, please.
Everybody
stop
just
singing."
stop singing. You read my mind.
Yeah.
All right, that will be it
Let
for
us
today.
know what you think.
Joker 2.
Yeah.
Next week, Monster Horror Week. We are talking The Relic and the Descent. Descent?
With Jean-François.
Yes. And the following week, it will be Korean horror. And then we are finishing up the month with Hollywood classic, The Exorcist and The Ring.
Wow.
So follow us if you want to have more horror content. And we'll be back with Mary for Gladiator 2. Gladiator 2. Our favorite film of all time is getting a sequel 20 years later, 24 years later.
This is going to be a
How will
mess.
it be? Dun, dun, dun. All right.
Thank you for listening.
Ciao.
Bye.